Fitz-Gerald Group Principal Keith Fitz-Gerald. Keith, I want to start with the Palantir situation. This is amazing to me. Like it's almost like the Carvana story in the sense that everyone hated Carvana. It was a meme stock that was going out of business. It was going down to 2, then 0. Now everyone on Wall Street's got to buy it. And same thing with Palantir. Everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. So where does the stock go from here?
Well, I got to tell you, Charles, one of the things you learn early on in this business, if you're going to have any kind of longevity at all, is if you get on a winning horse, you ride it all the way to the end of the race. Real CEO, real products, real consumers can't get enough, real margins. It's expanding like crazy. I think it goes to $100 originally 3 to 5 years from now, but maybe this time next year or sooner.
Wow. Hey, let's talk about another name that you like. CrowdStrike is under a little bit of pressure today. Not a lot, but just a little bit of pressure. Listen, everyone understands this story, cybersecurity, and understands the potential. I guess maybe it's inconsistent execution, but you say this is still one of your top picks.
It absolutely is. You've got 80 to 90% of the S&P 500 with cybersecurity as a top digital capital expenditure. They can't not spend money to protect this. At the same time, the reason why stocks like this are so funny, Charles, is people don't feel it. They don't personalize it. It's the companies that bear the burden when they get attacked and when they can't do something. But it hasn't hit home to the average consumer yet. Technically, this is just ripe for a sell-off. The RSI was very high coming into earnings, so you got a lot of computers playing on a well-known indicator. To me, it's an opportunity. Yeah,
and by the way, I'll show that with the chart. So relative strength got to this overbought area. We pulled back a little bit here. But I think, again, we hold above the 50 and 200-day moving average. To your point, we should be okay. I loved in your note you talked about GM. I was in Vegas in this past weekend for the F1 race. I also had a speech there. And you wrote that GM should maybe consider fielding an F1 Formula One team. Now, I will point out the stock has been absolutely on fire. And I think what turned the course for this stock was the idea that they're not going to bet as much on EVs, right? Like a lot of these automakers, they're pushing back. What would be the difference, though? Not spending a lot of money on EVs, but spending a lot of money to develop an F1 team, which you point out is very expensive.
It's very expensive and it's very risky, but if you think back to how many of the great brands made their mark back in the day, it was race on Sunday, sell on Monday. Many of the best technologies come out of the ultimate proving ground, which is racing. Cadillac already in force in the endurance racing circuit. If they can field an F1 team, if they can capture the Americans' attention, if they can get on the map from a consumer mindset, then suddenly EVs don't matter. They can leapfrog Ford, they can leapfrog much of Detroit, in fact, and really do something breakthrough. High-risk gamble, but boy, would I love to see it, especially if Andretti's involved.
So less than 30 seconds, Keith. Is there something out there that's bothering you right now? Do you think this is the moment? Forget everything else, and investors, folks watching this show, must be in this market.
These markets are the only store on earth where people fear a sale. If there's weakness, stay tuned, because Trump 2.0, because the economics, because the economy is a lot better than people think, and that's where you want to have your money at work, not at the mercy of it.
I got to tell you, man, I really have to applaud you. Your conviction on certain ideas, even when they were against you, is something to be applauded. Now, of course, you're benefiting big time, and so those people who believed in you. Happy Thanksgiving, Keith.
You too, Charles. Thank you so much.